good morning and welcome to my third day on But First This.
Go away! Go away!
Oh,
I'm busy!
answer the door.
Siobhan. This morning. What?
I've got lots of questions to ask you.
Oh, have you?
Yes. From But First This viewers.
Oh, well, that's all right then, so long as it's not insurance or anything like that.
No,
I'm not buying
just-
any insurance.
Just nice questions.
Would you want to come in then?
Yes.
Yeah, it's all right. Okay. I'll lead the way, because you won't, because it's so big in here. Oh, gosh, we've already reached the lounge.
Very, very posh.
What, have you got some
Right.
questions?
I've got so many questions for you, Philip, because you must be such a megastar. Let's see, the first one is from Louise Learmonth from Spittal in Northumberland Lake, and she says, what is Phillip Schofield's favourite colour?
Anything bright, I think. I've not got a particular colour, but like reds and bright blues and things I quite like. It depends on the occasion, really. I mean, if you're doing something fairly serious, then you tone it down a little bit, but if you're just mucking around in the afternoons, then it can be anything bright, really. So not a particular colour, but nice bright colours.
This one's from Claire Hobday in West Sussex, and she says, how many sugars does Philip have in his tea?
This is a strange one because with tea and coffee, it changes depending on my mood. Sometimes I'll drink coffee black with no sugar. Sometimes it'll be white with no sugar, or I'll have sugar in it. Tea, normally, milk and 2.
Somebody
Sorry, hold on a sec. Yes?
Oh, I'm terribly sorry to disturb Mr. Philip, but I thought you might like a nice cup of my hot tea and some biscuits.
Okay, Mrs. Apron. No. Do you want a cup of tea?
Well, yes, that'd be nice, thank you.
She doesn't. Yes, 2 sugars.
But I'll just bring the sugar bowl in then. All right?
Thank you.
I'll be back in a few minutes then. Oh,
It's a
dear.
bit clumsy. Is it broken?
I think it might be Mr. Philip.
It doesn't matter. Put it with the rest.
Who's that?
Mrs. Apron. She's the cleaning lady. She comes in every Wednesday.
Ah, someone who does for you. Right.
I wish she didn't, actually, sometimes. But...
This is from Barbara Whelan in Dublin, and she says, how many jumpers and shirts has Philip actually got?
I don't know how many I've got, but there's quite a few. And once I've worn them and I get a new batch in, then I send them all down to Cornwall to my brother, and he has to cope with them then. So he's probably got more than I have, because he's got all the car stuff.
And what time do you go to bed?
Oh, that depends as well, whether or not I've got something to do the next morning. I've always been the sort of person who goes to bed fairly late, and it doesn't affect... Not yet. Gordon, not yet. Get down. Go down. Get down. Not yet. No. Sorry. Always been the sort of... It's all over the place in here. The sort of person who goes to bed fairly late, so long as I've not got anything to do the next morning.
Right, well, we've actually got a question involving Gordon here, and this is from Stella Macpherson in Scotland, and she says, what do you and Gordon wear in bed?
Shall I get him up?
Yes,
Come up,
I think
come
it
back
might be
up.
an idea.
He's got all his toys and stuff down the back. Come here, let me give you a hand. Come here, have a come. Right, there you go. You all right? You comfortable? Right. What a mess! I can't believe it's a terrible mess down there. Right. Well, I normally wear a smile, and
Yes.
Gordon has got sort of a nifty pair of pyjamas, 2 or 3 pairs of pyjamas. I mean, he doesn't stay here. He's got his own house in Shepherd's Hedge.
Oh, really?
Well, of course, when he was made Prairie Minister
Yeah.
for the Gopher Party, of course, he was allowed to go into 10 Downing Squeak, but he doesn't really live there very much because he prefers to keep his paws on the ground. So his house in Shepherd's Hedge, but he has got 2 or 3 pairs of pyjamas, hasn't he? Yes. Red and green and all different colours.
Yes, yeah. Do you have any birthmarks, or does Gordon have any birthmarks? That's from Leslie Andrew from Glasgow.
You've got a birthmark. I didn't know you had a. Where's your birthmark? On your back? Is it? Apparently he's got a birthmark on his back. I didn't realise that. I used to have one. And mine, sorry about the horns, by the way. I used to have one and it used to be about there. Used to be there. But I haven't got one now at all.
So it wasn't ink blot or anything?
It might have been a bit of dirt, but
Yeah.
I think it was a birthmark.
But when you had that bath, it all changed,
Yeah.
didn't it? Yeah. Right, this is from Kate Ledbetter in Merseyside. She says, is your name spelt Philip or Philip, as in 2 L's?
My name's caused me all sorts of problems, apart from the fact that most of the people that I meet will say, "Hello, Paul, how are you? You all right, Paul?" There's a commissionaire at work, the BB... I'll put you down in a second. You have to be quite firm with him sometimes. Every time I see him, he says, "Oh, morning, Paul, how are you, Paul?" And I haven't got the heart to tell him he's got the name wrong, you see, but it's Philip, and it's 2 L's. And Schofield has got an H in it, S-C-H-O-F-I-E-L-D, but it's normally spelt wrong. I'm used to it now.
This is a good one. You love this one, especially you, Gordon. What does Philip look like in his swimming trunks?
It's horrible, isn't it?
That bad. And what is Phillip Schofield's favourite group from Amanda Cardno?
But there's all sorts of things. You can have a look a little bit later on if you like. There's Talk Latin Quarter, then there's the Stranglers in there, Whitney Houston. There's all sorts of different bits and pieces. Not a particular style of music either.
I take it Gordon's into the Clash.
Oh, he's heavily into the Clash. Oh, and Petula as well. Oh, sorry, you forgot Petula then. Both big fans of Petula Clark.
Yes, yeah. Well,
yes, he's singing downtown.
that's one of his better jumpers, really, isn't it?
This is a... Oh, yes. Dana, can you not hoover? Mrs. Ephraim? Sorry. Can you not hoover? Can you turn it off? It's not quite finished yet.
Well, while I'm here, I might as well have a look at some of Gordon's clothes and see what we can recommend. Because I did say I'd sort of come and advise
That's the wardrobe.
on some of his things.
Here's the wardrobe. This is Gordon's wardrobe here. What do you think?
Well, which ones are the ones he favours the most? I mean, or does he just take...
Well, I've seen him wearing sort of the jumpers quite a lot. He likes to wear that one. That's one of his favourites.
Mhm.
I mean, do you want to have a look at that?
Yes.
I mean, it's a sort of, it's got, Gordon on the front. It's like arrows and things like that, and then on the back, it's got Gordon Gopher.
And also, the last question we've had is: does Phillip Schofield really keep crickets?
Yes, I do. I've got them down here. The reason I kept crickets, or decided to keep crickets, was that a mate of mine keeps a spider, a tarantula, which I'll show you in a minute.
Oh no!
And this is fairly horrible because spiders in natural habitat will eat sort of crickets and things.
Yeah.
Now he has them as food.